Christian Benford's performance yesterday?
Yeah, it was good to see. I mean, the ball went his way quite a few times. As I've said the whole year, that every season's different. Every season is its own story. It's its own book, and it's kind of cool to see him kind of, he's getting in a rhythm, he's getting in a flow, and, the ball's finding him again, so it's cool to see, proud of him.
He's asking for some of those tough assignments and the challenge of facing a team's top receiver. What does that say about him, and what does that do for the team when he's like, I want this?
Yeah, I mean, CB is going to be that's how he is. That's the expectation of who he is, and I'd honestly be shocked if he didn't. He doesn't say a whole lot, but I mean, that's, every week's a little bit different. How we're going to approach every week's going to be a little bit different. But he's certainly answering the challenges that we ask him to.
I know stopping the run certainly will help the pass defense, but for your pass defense as a whole, just looking at the entire season, has it really felt like these last 5 to 6 weeks that group it's really starting to come together?
Yeah, I mean, there was a little, there was some change in the lineup because of injuries, and, you go back to Dorian and Tre'Davious and CB, and then Max comes back into, so there was a lot of different moving parts, but, I think we're starting to get in a flow and a rhythm, and, those guys are doing a pretty good job limiting the pass game.
Not to oversimplify it, but has it been a pretty big key for the secondary as a whole that Cole's development is obviously trending in a very positive direction, especially just given that position and all that it entails?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
You mentioned December at the start there, Bobby. You've been with Sean the entire time here. Traditionally, you guys have been great in this month. Just one loss, I think, in the last 3 years.
Have we really?
Yeah.
It's funny, we're literally week by week. You don't know those type of stats.
Yeah. I guess the question is, have you noticed anything about his leadership as the season goes on that leads you up to this month and in these games toward the end of the season? He talks all the time about the importance of winning games in December. Anything stand out to you?
It's funny. I'd say it's the exact opposite. I'd say it's the consistency throughout. You know what I mean? And I think he implored some nice things as far as how, the season's long, right? So you got to change up a little bit what you're doing. These guys get beat up, and, I think he does a pretty good job keeping his ear to the ground on, how guys are feeling and where our team's at, and has a feel for that and how we approach it and how we practice. Because the number one thing is to make sure your guys are fresh in December and January as best you can. Not anybody's, you try to be as fresh as possible. And our guys know the importance of December football. We were talking about this last game, I think it was November 30th yesterday. But it was really, you're getting to that time where you're setting yourself up in the first couple months to give yourself a chance. And then December there's a lot of meaningful football in December. There's a lot of things that go on. So to answer your question, Jay, I'd say that, it's the exact opposite. It's the consistency in what we do, although we have the ability to do some things to try to keep our guys fresh. And, it's just that consistent approach. And, we've got some veteran guys that understand and can help, back the message of the December football, especially for the young guys, because we got some young guys, so.
Sean McDermott said the process that you guys had leading up to the Steelers game during the week was awesome when it came to tackling. He said you guys practiced until you couldn't get it wrong. What was different about the weekend prep?
I would just say that, we understood they were the number one team in the NFL at forcing missed tackles. And there was a certain approach we were going to take, not that it was a lot different. We still emphasize the things we emphasize. And, I think it's just that specific area was just harped on. you know, and our guys certainly did a good job tackling yesterday, and we got to continue to do that.
When it comes to the mindset that the run defense played with, what type of mindset was it to you watching it happen?
Yeah, you know, I think the guys took on the idea that enough is enough kind of deal. And, you know, they just did a good job doing their job. There's a lot that goes into it, but every game's different. And certainly did a nice job yesterday, you know, defending the run.
We talked to Sean about the split snaps between Trey and Max, how Max just played 13 snaps last night. He was saying it wasn't anything really, but just kind of what does that look like moving forward?
Yeah, it's a different deal just because, like, you're trying to get something done, but corner, I think I've said this before, I think the two hardest positions in the NFL are quarterback, cornerback. And it's a little bit of a flow and a rhythm position, you know, and we have goals going into it, but those can certainly change based off the series, based off that. And then you're playing against Aaron Rodgers, and your substitutions, he's going to take advantage of that. So, you know, it worked out that way. Wasn't necessarily meant to work out that way, but that's the way the game went. You can't control the series that people are in, if that makes sense. Like, put this guy in, and it's a 3-play series. Put this guy in, and it's a 13-play series. Like, you can't control that. We'll continue to monitor it and try to get the best, you know, cadence that we can there.
What did you see out of Trey when he was in a rhythm last night?
I thought Trey did a nice job last night. I really did. You know, I know twice he saw a 6'7", 311-pound tight end barreling down on him. You know, I'd like to tell him to go lower on his tackles on those, but no, I think Trey's playing some good football right now, and he needs to keep it going.
What has Shaq Thompson meant to this? His addition meant to this team?
Shaq's awesome. I've talked about it. I think anybody on our defense, he's awesome, and he's got a lot of humility. It's never about him. Never about him. He's been awesome. He's been really good. Really good.
To follow up on that, how unique is it for a player like Shaq Thompson to show up in the middle of a season, and you can kind of tell that his leadership bleeds through on that, and he's a guy that's only been here for not even 2 months.
Right. So you're just saying this season when, like, the
This
Carolina
season, he's
game,
kinda
like when
showing
he.
up and
Yeah, I think we all knew it. I mean, you know, we're in these walls all the time, and we're always around each other. So I'd say our defense knew it, you know, and or has known it, you know. So maybe you guys are seeing something that we've already known, you know. So he's awesome. Can't say enough about him.